Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button and keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. All right, folks, here we are after market close on Monday, October 30th. We're going to take a look at MULN today. So I first want to talk about what came down from NASDAQ regarding MULN and its listing status, and then we will do a quick look at the chart and then a quick look at the Think or Swim study, and we'll call it a video. Now I'm going to read these couple of things that I copy-pasted. This one is from a press release, this one is from the SEC site, and then I basically have a question that I'm going to put out there, and if you know the answer, you think you know the answer, please put it in the comments below, so that folks can kind of, get an idea of how people are talking about this and what info is out there. So basically, NASDAQ came back to MULN and said, hey, you can keep your listing on the NASDAQ, but you have to fulfill two requirements. The first one is on or before January 22nd, 2024, the company must demonstrate compliance with Listing Rule 5550A2 by maintaining a closing bid price of $1 per share for 20 consecutive trading sessions. And the second point is that it has to schedule a shareholder meeting. I didn't put that on here because that's basically within their control and that shouldn't be an issue. This one to me seems more like the issue, and let me talk about why. So if we look at this rule on the SEC site, this isn't the entire page or the entire text of the rule, but this is sort of a footnote toward the end of it. It's the only thing on the page that I could find that said anything about a split. And let me unpack that. So on the site it says, the company intends to monitor the closing bid price of its common stock and may, if appropriate, consider implementing available options, including but not limited to implementing a reverse stock split of its outstanding securities to regain compliance with the minimum bid price requirement under the NASDAQ listing rules. So that's in reference to the dollar per share for 20 consecutive trading sessions. The issue, and this is my question, maybe that's from some news stories that I saw previously when, before MULN had basically gone and tried to appeal the delisting that was coming down from the NASDAQ. From my understanding, from other stories that had come out, there wasn't an option to reverse split to regain compliance because they had previously done that. If we look, they did that on August 11th. It's only October 30th. They did a 1-for-9 on that day, but that just got them over the hump, right? I mean, that got them to 101. So, not a great move there. I don't know if they had other options, but also back in May, beginning of May the 4th be with you, of 2023, they did a 1-for-25 reverse split. And again, my understanding was that when the initial ruling to delist from NASDAQ came down, it was basically like you can't reverse split to regain compliance because you've done X amount of those within X number of days. Now maybe they could reverse split again because maybe this January 22nd, 2024 date is far enough away that it expires some limitation that it had on a time frame in which it could no longer reverse split. I don't know. I tried to look into it. It was sort of hard to feel like I was getting information that I could be confident in. So again, this is sort of a call to say, hey, if you know, can they reverse split again ahead of January 22, 2024, in order to regain compliance with this, or have they exhausted that option and they're going to somehow have to 4x the price and keep it there for 20 consecutive trading sessions, which seems like a wildly challenging endeavor given MULN's history. So again, if anyone knows, please put that in the comments. If you have a link, that would be extra helpful just so we know sort of where the info is coming from. And again, sorry I didn't feel that I could find the info that I felt confident in, but I think it's at least valuable putting it out there and hoping that some folks can chime in with some decent info. Okay, so MULN is under this downtrend resistance. we're going to shift to the chart now, if that wasn't obvious. It's under this downtrend resistance. That to me is the most important thing. If it is going to have any sustained effort of climbing the price back, regaining any price higher than this 25 centish level, it needs to get some distance from it. The issue is it has broken it, but it's just curling just within 3 daily candles, curling right back down toward that downtrend resistance. And this is what we see all too often in these very challenged stocks, is that they break a downtrend, but then very quickly thereafter, they just start either following it down outside of the downtrend, or they get sucked back down underneath it. Obviously, it looks to be threatening that at the moment. I don't know if it's going to, but that's what I'm mostly keeping an eye on for now. I also put a few levels on here, so if it does dip, this 2238 may provide some additional support. You see that's sort of where we got double bottom here, but I don't know if it's going to come back to retest that. To the upside, 2844, if it can get through there, 3320, 3909, and then 4442 are the levels that I'm watching at the moment. There's some levels in between those, obviously, but I didn't want to clutter up the chart too much, since that's something we frequently suffer from. Now, of equal importance, and maybe even is just a simpler way to look at this, are these EMAs that it's struggling with at the moment. Now, back here, it was able to try to push this 21 EMA. It failed, obviously, but then it got, lost support of the 8 as well, and rode 8 resistance all the way down. And even on these most recent pushes, it's not been able to come back to the 21 again. So that gives me a bit of additional concern about, how strong the potential for the bulls to come back in is. We're not able to push previously attainable EMAs, even if we then shrug off of them and hit heavy resistance there. So I'm really looking for a sustained support over the 8 EMA, a strong push to the 21. Ultimately, obviously, if it's going to gain compliance with something other than a reverse split, such as just getting the price back to where it needs to be, it needs to do that quickly, because 20 consecutive days, and they have to meet that deadline. So they need to start that ahead of time. And getting support over these EMAs and getting these to bullish cross over the 8 above the 21, the 8 above the 34, 21 above the 34, and let the EMAs help carry and lift the price. That's really critical. So right now it's still trapped under that 8. Like I said, even with recent pushes, it fell just shy of being able to try to press against the 21. So that to me is critically important as well, because that could provide something like we're talking about here with the sustained effort. The necessary sustained upward momentum needs the assistance of bullish formation on the EMAs, and then their ability to provide support when it sort of goes through some waves and some retracements, and providing that support allows it to not do things like like this, where it gets a big heavy push and then loses almost all of the price action, and then finishes losing all the price action plus a bunch more. So flipping over to the Think or Swim study, not a whole lot to report here. We have a very brief trigger, and then it's been firing on the TTM squeeze indicator ever since. It's been just trickling down, losing price, for quite some time, while it's just sitting on the baseline, basically on the TTM squeeze histogram. So whether it's gearing up for a big move or not, it's kind of hard to tell, because it is pinned just a bit below the mid-range of the channel, so it's not hugging it. It's not really flattening it out. Maybe it's about to, but it's pretty minimal, the momentum on the histogram. Now it looks like it's much more heavy when you zoom in, but again, if you take a little bit of a zoomed out look, as we saw before, it's pretty minimal compared to the times when the momentum really picks up, right? So this is really contained momentum, if you will, that's just sort of causing the price to continue to slowly but surely bleed. So on this view, To me, the most important thing is, even though it's a little, kill the rest of this bearish momentum, get this histogram to the baseline. Do so by either stabilizing the price slightly upward or coming back to retest the mid-range of that channel and seeing what it does there. But with it continuing to shrug off this red wave cloud and not even being able to come up and press the mid-range of the channel, doesn't give me a ton of confidence that there is some place for the bulls to get a foothold here and to start to push. Again, who knows? Maybe there's some crazy catalyst, some news item, some announcement from the company that's going to throw that all into play, right? And it's going to really make things take off. I don't know, obviously. I'm not I'm not the person who would make those decisions at the company. But if there is, we'll see, and that will obviously adjust the chart. And it wouldn't be a chart play necessarily at that point. It would be a catalyst maneuver. So that's why I wanted to talk about what's going on with the news items recently, ask some questions, and hopefully it can give us a little bit of a better grip on both those news items that could be catalysts, as well as the chart and the structure alone. All right, folks, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start. And as always, I appreciate you watching, and I will see you in the next video.